we can also make exchange of informations.
Thank you very much. Likewise.
Thank you. So we can conclude the plenary session. And for the ones that are interested in the legal changes, please log into second panel. You have it in the chat. It's the same link, but it's second panel. And for the ones that are interested in panel one, of course, economic experiences, my colleague Adriana will make the introduction.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, all fine.
First, I would like to say a warm welcome to all of you and to thank you for being here together at this conference. But before we start the second session, I would like to lay down some rules. First, the presentation will take 10 minutes. Every presentation will take 10 minutes. In some particular cases, we accept 1 or 2 minutes more. Second, because we want to have, as usual, a very interactive conference, I invite you all to send and to ask questions. For every presentation, we need at least 1 or 2 questions. And there are 2 ways to do this. First, you may push the chat button and type your question. The presenter will read it and will answer it directly. Or if you want to interfere directly, as you see, all the micros are closed. So in order to be heard, you have to push the button and to ask directly the question. If you have some more suggestions or some questions, I am waiting for them. No? Okay. So it is time to invite you to travel together to our economic experiences. And I pass the virtual floor to Mihaela Știr. Are you ready to show to us the presentation?
Hello, yes, I am.
Okay, welcome. So Mihaela will talk about psychological ownership and its application in the hospitality and tourism industry. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you. I will share my screen now. Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Mihaela Știr. I am a PhD student at the Doctoral School of Economics and Business Administration within the Alexandru Ioan Cuza University of Iași. Today I will talk about psychological ownership and its application in the hospitality and tourism industry. First of all, I will mention the purpose of this study. I will distinguish between legal ownership and psychological ownership, and in the second part I will discuss about implications and applications of psychological ownership in the hospitality and tourism industry, and then I will draw some conclusions. Okay, so of this paper, this theme, because psychological ownership has emerged as an important predictor of attitude and behavior of individuals. And in these pandemic times, I think it's important to know all the options that we have available to
excuse me, Mihaela, I think we have some technical problems. Okay, so maybe you need to repeat the last idea.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now it's better.
Okay. Mm, yes.
I think the internet just went away.
We can take the next present.
Yeah, please the next Alina Haller until the internet is back for Mihaela Știe.
She come. She's online now.
Okay, so Mihaela is back.
Sorry, my internet connection, I think it's poor. I will share my screen again. Okay. Okay, so I want to first discuss about the ownership, which is expressed from early childhood. For example, children claim ownership on toys which they don't actually belong to them, and continues to evolve with the complexity of interactions, with social interaction and a physical environment. Human experience special feelings to the objects that they own and develop strong relationships toward these objects. The possessive feelings appears to exist beyond the notion of legal ownership. In particular, they are psychological in nature. The psychological element of ownership constitutes a basis for a continuous relationship with the object. For example, people appear to feel more than the legal ownership toward the vehicle when they refer to that vehicle as my car. They often name the car, personalize it with accessories, and refer to their common experience with that car. Another example is when authors refer to their ideas or defend their thoughts, referring to them as my ideas. Possessions, both material and immaterial, are object of psychological attachment and appear to be continuations of ourselves. So let's make the distinction between legal ownership and psychological ownership. The legal ownership is recognized by society, and hence the rights that come with ownership are specified and protected by the legal system. In contrast, psychological ownership is recognized foremost by the individual that holds that feeling. Psychological ownership is characterized by the feeling that something is mine. And individuals may feel ownership of an object without actually owning it. It was demonstrated that simply touching a product or touching a product's picture or even imagining touching a product leads to positive assessment of that object. In the literature, we find three roots of psychological ownership. Peirce argued that psychological ownership is found in three human motives. The first one is perceived control, the second self-identity, and the third one having a place. I will provide some details for each root. The first one, perceived control. The ability to control may result in intrinsic and extrinsic satisfaction. Such a desire for control is described in the form of an ability to provide oneself with convenience, security, enjoyment, and even comfort. Control over physical environment assumes manipulation of physical surroundings, whereas social control is exercised over people. Furby suggests two types of control over physical environments. The first one is the ability to affect an object in any way one may desire. And one example here can be a restaurant customer who may believe that a special relationship with the restaurant, for example, with its employees or with its owner, would enable him to receive preferential treatment The second type of control is the ability to affect the environment more generally by using the possession object. And an example here would be a person who may use the restaurant for a fundraising activity to sponsor, let's say, I don't know, cleanup or oil spill in the nearby, by renting restaurant as a temporary ownership. The control often is referred as perceived control by many psychologists. Perceived control has been defined as has been identified as a significant factor in satisfactory interpersonal interactions. Okay, for example, an example for tourism and hospitality industry is the ability to change a side order or in a hotel to change the king size bed with a queen size bed. These are examples of control that the customer might exercise. Okay, the second route to the self-identity. Previous studies identified that possession often represent a symbolic expression of the self. Dittmar stated that personal possessions come to objectify the aspects of self-definitions, and those possessions to do so through individuals' interaction with them, and such interactions are often reflected in the creation or on crafting those objects. Customer self-identity, it's known as to have two components. The first one is customer participation. For example, ordering menu items at the restaurant or bringing travel documents to a travel agency requires at least moderate participation on the part of the customer. And the second component, the customer identification. Customers often drive non-economical benefits such as prestige or security or social status from the identification with the company and brands. Let's say if I want to be associated with fun or with entertainment, I would like to be associated with Disney or Disneyland. Okay, and the third route, having a place. This notion is associated with sense of belonging. People feel secure when they feel being at home, and this is why the motivation of psychological ownership is part grounded in having a home, a place of my own. Some hospitality companies attempt to appeal this concept of home. For example, the Olive Garden's TV commercial states, "When you are here, you are family." Another example would be restaurants or hotels where customer may have permanent feelings that for a specific place. For example, they refer to, in a restaurant, they refer to a table as my favorite table or my favorite room in a hotel.
Mihaela, excuse me. Can you share the conclusions with us, please?
Sorry. Could you repeat, please?
Can you share the conclusions, because the time is...
Okay, sure. I will say one more thing, because it's a lot to say about psychological ownership. I will discuss about applications. There were studies that investigated how customers form psychological ownership in the restaurant industry, and the results showed that the sense of belonging and identification with the company would increase the willingness to pay more for the service, and a resistance for the competence. Another study showed that tourists develop a sense of psychological ownership on hiking trail, and this increased willingness to pay for the preservation of the trail. Also, tourist identification with the destination result in a sense of psychological ownership, and the results also show that this psychological ownership facilitate intention to revisit that location. And to draw some conclusion, psychological ownership lead people to consider different information when they value the object that they own. Studies from this field indicated possible significant effects on psychological ownership, and restaurants should be careful on the suggestion of the clients, because if the clients feel like they have control over what they order, or if their ideas are listened, they will develop a sense of psychological ownership. Okay, I think this is all. Thank you for listening. Please let me know if you have questions.
Yes, we need questions. Otherwise, I don't pass to the next presentation.
Yes.
The rule. So we are 18. Okay, at least one question, please. I don't like this silence. I hate it, in fact. So, Mr. Grigoruz, are you there? Or I don't know. Andrei, are you with me? Where is gone everybody? Okay, I have one question, if you allow me. If you now in the Romanian context, is there any difference between psychological ownership and the culture to own something? Do you get this idea, this concept, or I don't know? It's something particular.
Actually, for us, the Romania, the ownership is very important. We are. There was a study saying that we have the most owners of home. We have the most greater percentage in Europe about owners, because we have a need to own the place that we live. We need to have a car. We are not fans of renting. We want to own, and we identify very much with the object that we own. We as Romanian.
Exactly. And does it impact the tourism? I don't know, because sometimes
Sorry, I can't hear you. Could you please repeat?
Okay, and the impact to something is positive or negative in some cases.
For example, if we apply psychological ownership to businesses, this has a positive impact, because as I said, this increases the willingness of people to pay more for the products or for the services they buy. There are also some negative aspects, because, for example, tend to value more the object that they own, and this is something that is an impediment for transactions, because for example, me as an owner, I have a phone, let's say, and I want to sell it, but the price that I will accept to sell that phone is much bigger than the price that a seller would pay to buy it. And this is why psychological ownership tend to have a negative positive impact, because as an owner, I will value more the product that I own, and this will be an impediment to finalize the transaction.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Other questions? No. Is Mrs. Alina Haller here? Just a moment to see the names, because I don't see the names. There are not too many. Okay, so Alina Haller is not here. I need some help for a better pronunciation. Catherine, can you help me, please? Catherine, Nemeth, and?
I'm here.
Hi, welcome. So you are talking about influencer marketing, persuasion of the followers, yes?
Yes.
Good luck, we are hearing you. Thank you.
I'm sharing my screen.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
Okay. So, welcome to the committee, and to those interested, I'm Catherine Szikszai from the University of Debrecen. I did my research in the field of marketing because I'm currently working as a marketer as well, and have a strong interest in the art of personal branding and influencer marketing, which is why this topic is really close to my heart. In this study, I wanted to explore the way opinion leaders influence their followers. First of all, the mechanism by which influencer marketing has emerged as a concept is far from new. After all, who hasn't heard of word of mouth, or even the online version of it, EVOM, a word of mouth? In the world of advertising, where almost every minute we are faced by advertisement on the streets, on TV, or even just scrolling our phone, people are becoming more and more immune to traditional strategies, traditional promotions created by the brands. They consciously avoid such interfaces, pay for ad-free content, or some people even install ad blocking softwares. The other trend, which has also been present in our everyday life for a long time now, is that people like to make decisions based on authentic information obtained from their peers. It started with visiting some places on the recommendation of friends or family, or just choosing a particular service. And now it is there that before making any purchase decisions, consumers first enter their questions into an online search engine. And what they find is none other than the opinions and ratings of others about the product. And the world of social media has allowed the celebrities or the average ordinary consumers to have their say, share their experiences about a place, a product, or a service. Having the opportunity for consumers to follow each other, or even sharing their own content, a brand's reputation can grow even only by relying on the power of social media, and about how the consumers make their decisions. Due to the fact that the consumers' decisions have long been strongly influenced by well-known individuals, research on advertisement using opinion leaders and celebrities are not new to the literature. In contrast, more than 84% of millennials and 70% of the baby boomers reported being more influenced by user-generated content in their purchases. User-generated content could be, for example, online consumer reviews or content shared by the influencers. The Nielsen survey also showed that WOM, word of mouth, is perceived by consumers as the most reliable source of information, and they are most likely to act because of it. Because of the reasons stated on the last slide, we must give attention to the influencers who are reported being peers who are, according to Abidin, unlike celebrities, opinion leaders may appear accessible in the eyes of the followers. Martens et al. Also strengthens that followers prefer to see their partner in the opinion leader they can trust, so it is especially worthwhile for brands to work with them. Shemer et al. Found that associating a brand with a positively evaluated opinion leader results a positive attitude towards the brand. However, the power of the influencers rests on seemingly opposite factors. First, the connection, and second, the desire. Namely, the followers should be able to experience particular life situations of the opinion leader, while also should be longing for the milieu he or she presents. Thomson Whiteside et al., for example, revealed that the formation of a fallible image of a female entrepreneur only makes the influencer even more authentic in the eyes of the followers. But how can the brands find the right influencers for their campaigns? Verman and Kim also suggest that brands should not start with a look at the number of the followers when searching for an influencer to work with, but rather at their shared content, because popularity not necessarily affects their impact on their followers. In contrast, Martens and et al. Says otherwise. As opinion leaders with a small number of followers can provide less access to the partners. What about when a follower or a fan recognize that it's a sponsored content? Stubb et al., for example, drew attention to this phenomenon, and that the recognition of sponsorship in posts increases commitment to opinion leaders. For me, it was a surprise. And Jans et al. Also concluded that it does not necessarily lead to a negative perception of the opinion leader if they recognize that the post contained advertisement, if the goals are properly communicated. And last but not least, what makes a collaboration effective? Torres et al. Examined this issue and why a brand influencer collaboration could be effective. And it was found that the brand influencer fit has to be really strong, because it has a significantly greater effect on followers' attitudes than the influencer's appeal. However, interestingly, the attractiveness of the influencer also influences the perceived fit, making it easier for fans to match a particular influencer with any brand because of their bias. Captain Ciavera suggests that the brands have to choose the interface where they want to advertise to determine exactly to whom they want to sell their products. Furthermore, advertisements should be designed to steer consumers towards the desired mindset. To sum up, the results of the researchers show that when building a marketing strategy, it is almost inevitable for decision makers to think about with whom they want to be selling their product, service, or anything, and with whom it would be worthwhile to advertise their goods. However, as the current form of influencer marketing itself is relatively new, there is not yet a well-established and good practice on the basis of which the influencers can be selected and with whom the brands can expect a return on their cooperation, nor are there any common agreement on the nature of the contracts with the influencers themselves. And there are even those who are completely unaware of what compensation they can expect when cooperating with brands. This is why my further research would like to help the work of brands, influencers, and last but not least, the researchers by creating a model or an index that would identify the right influencers and make their influential power measurable. This would be forward-looking in terms of expanding the literature and practical usefulness as well. Thank you. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Catherine. I would have a question. You mentioned word of mouth.
Yes.
What do you think are the most efficient channels for this kind of let's say marketing strategy, targeted to generation Y and Z maybe?
So I think the word of mouth started from the recommendations of the family and friends, but now it is there that in the social media, for example, Instagram, they are searching, the new generations are searching for example, geotags of places, and they decide because of it. So, for example, channels could be the social media platforms, for example, Instagram, and now TikTok, which I really can't understand, but now it's I think it's like the first and top social media channel for the new generations to connect with.
Okay, and do you know the concept of digital campfire for this kind of generation?
I don't think so.
Just as a small advice, research on digital campfire and you will see that word of mouth.
Yes.
And I mean, it will be targeted not only by social media, like you mentioned TikTok, but also by, let's say, their purpose or their research, their hobbies. So they create, you know, like the digital campfire, the actual, when you go to camp, there
Yeah.
will be, the campfires will be digital. So they'll create groups and categories, and it's a good way of segmentation.
Yeah, I think so, as you said about this. So I can imagine it can be a great aspect which I should give attention to.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wrote it down.
Thank you, Catherine. Now we are listening Roxana Alina Stoshchik with presentation about a multidisciplinary approach to event management.
Yes. Hello, do you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear
Yes,
me? Yeah,
perfect.
okay. So let me share the presentation with you. Hopefully it works. It's my first time on Zoom. Let's see.
It is our first time for all of us.
Yeah.
So,
Can you see something?
yes, it's perfect. If
Perfect.
F5, please, F5, full screen.
Yeah, I will try. Oh, I think this is not. I don't know what happens, but let's see. Now it's okay. It works. Yeah. Okay, great.
Yes.
So first of all, I'm very happy to be with you today, and thank you for this opportunity. Today I will try to present my research, a theme that is one of big interest for me. I will make a brief presentation of the most important elements that I've managed to research so far regarding event management. Until now, I've interacted with this area as a practitioner, working as an event planner for more than 8 years. It seemed important for me to research the theoretical perspective as well. And I strongly believe that this study will help me both on my doctoral studies, which I intend to start this autumn, and on the other hand, in order to grow my business and to find out more about this area of activity. What do we think when we hear the word event? I think that the events are part of our lives, even if are planned events or unplanned events. This is the first point. Also, the event industry known a big development lately, and it became more and more recognized as an industry with its own practitioners, suppliers, and professional associations. But I think that event industry could not develop on its own, but in close connection with other related fields, and that's what I want to study now, and to see the links between event management and some other fields, important fields, I think. About the definitions of events, for now, unfortunately, we don't have an agreement on a specific definition or a classification. I think this field is rather new, so it's hard to limit it to a specific definition. And as a practitioner, I've seen that this field of activity is very flexible and versatile, and it's growing continuously. So it's pretty hard to limit it. I've selected 3 definitions which seemed relevant to me. And I've drawn the conclusion that an event is unique. It cannot repeat identically. So this conference won't be the same next year, or I don't know, next season. This is the most important thing. I will make a brief history on events. We all know that events were part of people's lives practically since forever. First, they were being related to rituals and customs more than with planned and organized events. But I think that the development of events is closely linked to the Industrial Revolution, especially to the growth of businesses and the development of means of transportation, offering the opportunity for more and more people to travel and participate at events. The development of technology had, and I think it still has, a huge impact on the event industry. But this can be a separate topic, and I want to insist on it today. I will pass on the classification of events. I think that we all know this classification, but it's still important and interesting to see it.
Roxana, just a
Yes.
moment, please. Push the slide because we have only the first page.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yes, you can see it now.
I don't see. I see only the title and your name. That's all.
Oh,
I don't know if, yes.
let me see why. Now?
Yes. You push the.
Now? No?
No.
Okay. I will
Again,
stop sharing and share it again, maybe. Maybe black somewhere, because here I can see everything.
Yes, we don't see. Andrei, can you help us, please?
Let's see, share screen again, maybe. Okay.
Andrei, microphone.
Now? Now? It works?
No.
No?
No.
No, the first slide. That's all.
Only the first one?
Yes,
Yes.
just first side. Yes, it's okay.
It's okay.
No, it's okay. Thank you.
Yes, now it works? Okay. Let me see. Okay. So I am at the primary areas of event management. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, great. Good. I want to refer to the areas that are closely linked to event management. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about tourism and event management.
Now we see slide 4, brief history.
Okay. Now, typologia, the types of events. And now the event management. No?
We don't see the changes.
I don't understand.
The fourth one only.
I changed it, but I don't know.
I will share screen for you if it's okay.
Yeah, please.
Just a second. Can you tell me just what slide should I go?
Slide number 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you can pass on the next slide. Okay, this one, yes. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about event management and event tourism. I think that this figure is concludent and it shows how event management and event tourism are fundamental elements in event studies research. I've tried to find some resources about these areas of activities, but it's kind of hard. I found Donald Gates, which I think it's amazing, but in Romanian, not so much until now. Maybe you will give me some suggestions or recommendation. Can you pass to the next one? Okay. So these are the models created by Donald Gates. The first one is the original portfolio model created in 1997. He created this portfolio model focused on the objectives and benefits of events on tourism. In this model, he tried to describe both what existed in the real world at that time, of course, and also what a destination might strategically develop. At that time, the model was mainly conceptual and didactic. As we can see, the mega events are on top of the pyramid. Mega events meaning Olympic Games, FIFA, so the big event that we all know, while the local events, which are greater in number but low in touristic value, are acquiring the base. The permanent hallmark events, like the Rio Carnival or the Tour of France, are a category on their own, and it's possessing high tourist value, being recognized as traditions to be preserved. On the other hand, the regional events were viewed as having medium touristic value, but with the potential to be elevated to hallmark status. On the right, we have a more recent and revised model from a tourist perspective, which I think it better reflects the recent trends. On the top of the event tourism pyramid, we still have the occasional mega events, which are few in number, given their high cost and associated risks. Mega events provide the highest level of tourism demand and media coverage. The hallmark events are still considered to be a primary asset within tourism. So practically, in order for a destination to promote and raise its tourist potential, it has to focus on the strategic planification of events. And the more popular the events are, the more the destination becomes more attractive to tourists from all over the world. Can you pass to the next one, please? Next slide. Okay, thank you. So my paper is still in an incipient level, and I found a lot of interesting directions, and I haven't decided on one, so I'm still researching. Like I said before, I've identified some studies, some papers, but I think quite limited, and I repeat that in Romanian I wasn't able to find much about this area of activity. So I think this is all for today. I plan to study more on festivals and their impact on local communities. And I am thinking of Never See Festival and its impact on Constanța, but more in a social way than economic one, because I'm not much of a number person. So that's all for today. Can you please pass to the next slide, because I've okay. Oh yeah.
You
No,
want the next slide?
it was only my email. I don't know if someone has some suggestions for me.
I have a question, if you allow me, please.
Yes, please.
I like this title, independent researcher. So as I understood, I've understood well, soon you are planning to follow doctorate program. So
Exactly.
good luck in this for this.
Thank you very much.
My question is, what is the need to approach multidisciplinary points of view? Why you cannot express something, or I don't know, to show something by using only one field, let's say?
I will talk as a practitioner more than okay. So I think that event management and planning events, organizing events, it's impossible without other fields, because we work with a lot of vendors, with a lot of suppliers. And for example, if we plan a cultural event, we must take into consideration this part, the cultural part. If we plan a wedding, let's say, we must plan it accordingly to its specific, like communicate with the clients, see their needs. So this is the area of communication. The area of sports, let's say. So I don't think it's possible to think of events as the independent area of activity without the others, without marketing, without advertising, without the digital media. So that's why I think we must see it as a multidisciplinary field.
Okay, thank you very much. Other questions, please?
Roxana, I have a question.
Yeah.
So if you mention festivals, I think you've seen how the big players tried to be relevant during lockdown and during, of course, because they couldn't do the live events.
Yeah.
Have you thought about researching the, I don't know, the virtual reality more, or interconnection with using the technology to live the experience, but not actually the physical one?
Oh, yes. In this context with the pandemic situation, yes, more and more. But planning a lot of live events for me, it's kind of hard to think about this festival in a digital manner. I don't think I'm a specialist on this, but I think it's very interesting to follow this direction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I think it's time to create and to invent.
Yeah.
And stay
Okay.
relevant, like some say. Be there.
Thank you very much.
Now it's time to the right